Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Washington, D.C., it's Quintessential Listening, Poetry Online Radio. QLPOR, as it's widely known, features a bevy of poets, spoken word artists, and live poetry readings with best-selling authors. Your host is Dr. Michael Anthony Ingram.
Good evening, everyone. My special guest tonight is Thea. Thea is an award-winning performance poet, drummer, dancer, and holistic counselor. I knew I was going to mess up.
All right.
Let me calm down. Everybody, I'm so excited that Ellen is here because she's been with us before. And I love her. Okay, so
I love you too, Michael.
So that's why
I'm so happy to be here. Yes, you have no idea.
Yes. Okay, let me finish. Okay, then. All right. Utilizing tarot, astrology, utilizing tarot, astrology, crystals, and energy work. She's lived on both sides of the country, from New York to Alaska. Her book, On My Way to the Apocalypse, a nonlinear 55-page prose poem, was published by Dingaroo Press in 2012. The book is a born classic. Thea, welcome back to the program.
Michael, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so psyched. I always love talking to you. I wish we did it more than once a year.
I know.
But that's okay.
Well, any flubs that I make, I'll edit them out. All right? No one will ever know they happen.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's begin this thing. We've got a lot to catch up on because it's been pretty much close to a year, to be quite honest. What's
over
been
a year.
happening?
Over a year.
Just over a year. What's been happening in your poetic journey?
Oh, wow. Well, I did a festival last year up here in Talkeetna. I'm going to do that again next week, which is pretty exciting. So I did a festival after I spoke with you, and then right after that, we ended up in a situation where we had to choose between having a phone or not making our mortgage. So I was phoneless for a while, which was kind of strange. Okay. I went to Florida and did some stuff, wrapping up loose ends from my parents passing and all that. And then I spent part of the winter having health challenges. And so in all that time, I wrote one poem that I started actually the day that Russia invaded Ukraine, which I'm looking forward to reading later. Okay. So I've done that. And what I did, I was saying, I'm not writing, blah, blah, blah. But I reread Writing Down the Bones, Natalie Goldberg. Okay. And I took to heart what she says in there, where she said, write when you write. Don't freak out about it. I mean, I had issues where my fingers were swelling up, hard to hold the pen. I mean, I couldn't go on. But things changed, and I came into a tiny bit of an inheritance and paid off my mortgage and got a new computer and did that type of stuff. And I actually have started writing again. And I have a new poem brand new, like a couple of weeks ago, that I'm going to share with you. Like I said, and just this month I've done a pre-K drum circle. I've done a Reiki session for my doctor, which was really cool. I'm doing a festival this month and a festival in July. And my partner and I are going to launch a publishing business. I'm actually at this gig. I'm actually, for the first time, going to have my own personal swag to sell. Wow. Starting out with magnets and broadsides, posters, But we're going to evolve into T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. I was going to write a short book for this gig next week on all my short poems less than 5 lines, and it turns out to be like 30 poems. So that's not happening this week. So
Very nice.
that's where I'm at. I'm at a new beginning. So this last year was more of living in the chrysalis and being that goo. The liminalness between, in fact, I've got a poem I'm working on with the line subliminal liminal. I haven't gone much beyond that, but so that's another thing I'm working on, and evolving my drums. So that's what's been going on this year.
You mentioned the word liminal, and when we were talking about your biography, what does that mean? Liminal.
Liminal is the space when the caterpillar is in the chrysalis and between being the butterfly. That spot is liminal. When you're not this and you're not that. You're betwixt, you're between. I mean, if you know anything about caterpillars and butterflies, when they're the caterpillar turns into a patch of goo. That's what happens to it. Just becomes goo, and then suddenly it becomes a butterfly. I mean, I don't really know the whole process, but that's. I feel as if that's where I've been at. It's just that whole growth change of becoming evolving into a new individual. Not really new, but.
So some of the poems that you plan to share will be from that liminal space. Am I correct?
Let me think.
Or
actually,
on the side of the liminal space that you've exited, and now you're a butterfly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I am a butterfly.
Yeah, I know.
That is true. Actually, I'll be sharing a couple of 2 new poems, and I'm also sharing poems I haven't shared.
Okay.
That's part of it. And my voice. I feel a stronger, it's a different voice. It's a stronger voice. It's a more mature voice.
Okay.
Which is about time because I'm getting older, but to be more mature. But I mean, I've been writing for over 60 years. Wow. I started writing as soon as I learned to write, when I was like 4. So you would think I would have a mature voice by now, maybe.
So, refresh me. What are some of the predominant themes that you write about, Ellen Thea? What do you write about? What did you write about?
I try to speak truth, first of all. I'm not going to, some stuff is kind of cute, but, I like to speak what's true. Themes include women and spirituality, the relationship between people. Let's say things that I think need to be called out. Like this is wrong, or this is what we should be doing, or that. Spirituality factors big, and just I believe that poets. I may be answering another question later, but I believe that poets and artists have a responsibility to speak for those who can't. We have a voice. We're gifted. Not everybody can get up on the stage. My partner writes great poetry. He is not a performer.
All right.
It's not what he wants to do, and not everybody can do that. So we have a responsibility to be a mouthpiece. And I believe that there's personal situations to each of us, but the overarching thing that, connection that we have, I may eat, I may be a vegetarian and you may be a carnivore, but you know what? We're both worried about getting our dinner on time.
Yes.
Okay? That's what I'm getting at. The meta, what's going on outside of that.
What you're saying is that you believe that poets must write about issues directly affecting our world.
I believe that that's a part, that is definitely a part of poetry, and
Okay.
it's, I mean, not only that, obviously I write about my cats,
Right.
I write about silly little things.
Okay.
I come up, I mean, people do that. So I don't think it's crucial, but it's just awareness that we do have a responsibility and that it has to be more than platitudes and cliches are very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and part of the challenge, of course, is trying to twist around that platitude or that cliche so that that's not, you're not just saying, I don't know how to express it in a, because I thought about this last night and I was like, well, like a Hallmark card. But you know what? Some Hallmark cards really hit the mark.
Yes,
So I don't want to disparage that. I think, though, that, again, but that's an example of being a mouthpiece, right? That's why you buy a card, because it's saying what you can't say.
What you want to say, yes. That's so true. Well.
So, yeah.
Well, without further ado, my friend, please share a poem.
Okay, here's a short one. This is the one I wrote 2 weeks ago. It's called The Weaver. Not of the fates or the norn, nothing so fancy as she. The threads I weave of story and rhyme, snippets of another time, and so the story goes. The loom warps back and forth, to and fro, what we see, what we don't. A matter of front or back or both or and, or topsy-turvy land. It's all wonderland, even when it's not. And when the spinster's tale is done and the woving is undone, chaos in its purest form, potential to weave again anew. Thank you.
Wow. Do you view your ability to write poetry as a creative gift or a creative art?
Creative gift or a creative what? Did you
art.
say? I didn't hear. Art?
Art, yes.
It's both. Both and.
Talk
It took
to me.
me a while to think of myself as an artist. I kept thinking that art has to be visual.
Okay.
It doesn't. And I can create vision in my words anyway, which was the point that I'm trying to do in the first place. I was trying to use words as a paintbrush. So, but it's a gift in the sense, also in the sense that, the Weaver, that came out almost full blown. And I love it when that happens. But then again, I don't really think I'm in control of that. I just let the pen go and see what happens. Unlike the other poem I'm going to read later, which I've been working on for a year, and I'm not even sure it's finished yet. But so it took that a while, and just saying, well, yeah, I've come. That's what I believe. It's an art and a gift.
All right. I'd like you to read The Weaver again. I want to hear it again, Ellen.
Sure. I'll read it again. Let me get there. The Weaver. Not of the fates or the norn, nothing so fancy as she. The threads I weave of story and rhyme, snippets of another time, and so the story goes. The loom warps back and forth, to and fro. We see what we don't, a matter of front or back or both or and, or topsy-turvy land. It's all wonderland, even when it's not. And when the spinster's tale is done and the woving is undone, chaos in its purest form, potential to weave again anew.
Wow.
The end.
Wow. That is just so about life that when you're at the end of your rope, something happens and you're pulled into life. It's happened to me many times. Many times.
And it's a weaving. We don't see what, maybe sometimes we see the back, And the back on a weaving or a cross stitch it's a mess. It's a mess. But there's this beautiful tapestry, and we can tear it out. And when the weaving's done, the fates cut our cord, whatever, then we get woven again.
Yes. I know that you've traveled and you've done a number of things, and you've worked with a number of different audiences. So who do you think is your audience for your poetry, and how do you hope they react to you?
Well, my audience for poetry is everybody.
Okay, tell me.
I mean, there's some stuff that people will understand. There's some stuff that people won't. You've heard some of my things. Some of my pieces are very complex. Some of them are so simplistic, it's ridiculous. So I think it's going to hit who it's going to hit. And that's what I hope for. I don't have now when I depending upon who, if I'm doing a drum circle like I just did for pre-K, that's going to be a different drum circle than for an adult, But I think, unfortunately for those people that give me a platform, I'm going to speak truth that needs to get said. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now that needs to be put into people's faces. We need, things need to change big time.
Yes, they do.
And, speaking, the voices can be a groundswell moving that energy forward. And the unfortunate thing, as some of these other poems that I'm going to read later say, it's unfortunate that since they were written, say, in the 90s, things are still true.
Yes.
I could jump over to one of those and explain to you what I'm talking about, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. This is Piece for the Single Mother. Now, I wrote this 30 years ago, okay? I was a single mother. I had no child care. I was on food stamps. I had one ex-husband who had dropped off the planet and another ex-husband that was making his business to make sure the target on my back stayed there, if you catch my drift.
Yes, I do.
My kids hostage. I mean, and this was after I had my master's degree. I mean, because I didn't have child care, I could not do my career. I worked in a bookstore part-time because my kids could come in and sit in the kids section if they had missed school or something. So, I mean, and to me, it's unconscionable. It's a sin that this poem is still relevant today. And I will read it to you right now. I wrote it in the 90s sometime. Recipes for the Single Mother. Poor man's souffle. Created from WIC checks. Milk, bread, eggs, cheese. Once lived on, forever reviled. Tuna slop. Serendipitous discovery when the weekly grocery money was only $16. Canned cream of something soup. Canned veggies. Government cheese. Noodles. And naturally tuna, the other red meat. Top ramen noodles. 5, 6, or 7 for $1. No further explanation necessary. Ghetto Krispies. Generic marshmallow fluff and Rice Krispies sauteed in margarine, an oily substance only one molecule removed from plastic, and yum, almost as good as the real thing. And of course, the other two major food groups, mac and cheese, powdered, the store brand, and perennially PB&J. Go grow a family. It's done every day. The end.
Wow. Go grow a family.
Yeah,
It's done every
that's
day.
what it is. Go grow a family. Me and my 3 kids, who I have to tell you a story. They actually believed at one point that I liked the top ramen noodles, and that's why I bought it.
Well, actually, I like them. I've been eating a lot of them lately.
Well, good. I'm glad. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes,
you know,
I do.
from way back when. You know what I mean.
Oh, I know exactly.
You know where I'm at. So,
I'm right there now, so I know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And you know, I mean, but to try to grow a family on that's ridiculous.
Oh, I see.
And
I see.
you know, I mean, and it hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's going to get worse if you look at the news. You know,
Yes.
that is unconscionable. That I can't. You know, and so I'm expressing it. I'm saying it because it's important. It's important that we know that it hasn't changed over 30 years. It's important to know that even with a graduate degree, look at where I ended up because of no child care and because of the experiences that I was having with my ex-husband. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That should not be. Mm-hmm. And so there that is.
Well, we need to talk offline sometimes about how life doesn't always turn out like you'd had planned. So I do understand that.
No, it doesn't. Mm-mm. Yeah, that is true. Mm-mm. I'm here now, and I'm happy with where I'm at. Okay. So you know, I'm happy that it's all ended up this way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm getting there. Now, is the muse that you had back then, if you had a muse, the same one that you have now, or is it different?
It's the same. When the muse comes on me, it's the muse, and when she comes, I have to write it. Mm-hmm. And I find that my first drafts are always with pen on paper, and then I put it on the computer. There's something about the visceral act of writing, which is why it was so hard for me to write when my fingers hurt. You know, so. But it's the same muse. She comes down and she says, "Come on, we're going for a ride," and there we go.
Mm-hmm. I guess I was thinking that maybe the muse back then, you said 30 years of that particular piece, was the muse that represented survival and resilience. And maybe that the muse represents something different now. You know? What do you think about that?
No, it's survival in the sense that it helps me doesn't help me figure out my life. Okay. Doesn't help me encapsulate it. It's a commentary on it. When I was in grad school, I have a master's in marriage and family therapy with a specialization in medical family therapy. On for my PhD, right? All this stuff. And I wrote a poem that is probably next to impossible for anybody to read if they haven't been in graduate school, because I started describing all the different, and I don't have it on the laptop right now, but I described all the different theories of therapeutic schools, you know, behavioralism, and, you know, I can't even remember, you know, so, but it's all this technical jargon, so I can't read it, I can't present it, but you know what? It kept my head together because I was able to be creative within an environment that might have, and actually did kind of stifle my creativity because they didn't want me to do, I couldn't get my dissertation done. It was the effects of Reiki on manic depressives, and they thought, what are you talking about? Come on. 30 years from now, what's going on? I did Reiki on my doctor. Okay, that's fine. You know? So, but it kept my head straight, you know, that there was more to life than that rarefied atmosphere.
So you don't live your life like it's a poem.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
So you don't live your life like it's a poem.
I don't live my life.
So you don't live your life like it's a poem. Yeah.
It's Yeah. It just keeps. I can't. It's maybe it's for spiritual survival.
Okay. All right.
Emotional survival.
Yes.
Creative survival.
You know, when I ask that question of people, do you live your life like it's a poem? Say yes, and some say no, because life is truly not a poem, because there's so much other stuff that goes into life that it makes it difficult for it to narrow it down to just one thing, one theme.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I enjoyed talking to you, Ellen, so much, because it gives me an opportunity to and to stretch. So if some of my questions sound crazy, they probably are. They probably are.
No, they're not. Got to remember, you're talking to E.T. here, so it's all good, you know.
Okay. All right. Please share another piece.
All right. Let's see. Do you want something a little silly, or do you want I'm trying to see what I got. I've got...
What you got?
Silliness. I've got a drum poem.
Surprise me.
All right. Then here, I'm going to do Alice's response. You'll get a kick out of this one. This is one I haven't shared too often. Okay. Alice's response. And you'll know what she's responding to in about 3 words into the poem. Okay?
All right. Yes.
Alice's response. Beware the Jabberwock, my friend, and yes, I think I'll say, beware the Grimmel and the Fawn when they dance into the fray. For when the walrus sings a song of whether pigs have wings, not just the Jabberwock fredillates into the ring. The Grimmel and the Fawn, you see, they dine on cabbages and kings, and afterwards they think it great sport to play Sonardeling. It was Alice's favorite game, or was it the White Rabbit? The Mad Hatter enjoyed it too once he got into the habit. So beware the Jabberwock, my friend, when he comes passing through. But here's a hint I think I'll give. Beware the walrus too. The end. See what I mean? Now that is not, that's just a silly poem.
Yes, and we need those too.
Silly poem.
Yes. Well, let me ask you.
So there it is.
No, go ahead, please, continue.
Oh, another poem, huh? Let's see.
Okay.
What? Continue what? I'm sorry.
Well, we'll get in sync as we continue. we'll get in a good rhythm, like in the drum circle. We'll get in sync.
We'll get there, right?
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Obviously, you know what I'm referring to, though, right? In the poem.
I do.
Who Alice is and who she's responding to.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I could talk to you about my poem, my 4-word poem, including the title.
Okay, do that.
Would you like to hear it? Punctuation is everything in this poem. Okay. The poem is called Hooker. Johnny, come lately? The end. That's the poem. You see what I mean? It's silliness, but it's great. I enjoy
I'm going to need to spray some holy water on my microphone.
Oh, man.
Or maybe on your microphone.
Yeah, right.
Well, let me ask this question.
Sure.
Has a poem you've written ever frightened or humbled you?
I'm humbled all the time when something brilliant comes out of my pen, because I'm just not that smart. I don't. I mean, when it comes out and it's together and it's cool, I'm humbled all the time by that gift. What was the question? Am I humbled or sometimes I'm frightened. Sometimes it's stuff I don't want to really get into. Some of them are dark, but what I also believe is important is that even as we talk about dark things, positive, that I do something positive, because otherwise you're just going to spiral down and we're just going to say, what is even the point? Let's just all kill ourselves,
Yes.
And so, if you know it, last year I did schizophrenogenesis, and I end kind of positively. Every poem, every gig I do, I may take down a ride in the middle of it, but we're going to come out of it, and I'm going to try to make it positive because I think that's super important. Let's see.
Then tell me about a poem you were proud of writing, but afraid to share for fear of possible misinterpretation.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of it. I've got pieces I'm ready to do right now that I'm a little concerned,
All right.
Who knows, But I've decided that in my voice and being gifted with this ability to write and to speak and not be afraid to be on a stage and all of that, then I have an obligation to say it. And if you don't like it, that's your choice. As someone told me,
so what do you think?
The great. Go on. Yeah.
No, I was
going to
ask you. What do you think? All right. What do you think gives you the gumption to get up and stand in front of people? Because that's not always easy, as you said. That's not always an easy thing. There's a difference between reading it and sharing it. So, what gives you the gumption to do that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I was gifted with it.
All right.
I really have. I do know that I started dance when I was 4. I could say, well, it's because I'm the Aries. I can do that. Right. I could say
and
that.
And so am I. All right.
Oh, you are? When's your birthday?
March 27th.
Wow. That's cool. Happy birthday.
When is yours?
April 2nd.
Okay.
I'm like a week after you.
Yes.
Wow.
It's true.
Well,
yes.
I'll have to make sure I say happy birthday to you next year and stick it on my calendar.
And I'll do the same. Okay, we need to focus. Please share another poem.
Okay, I'm going to share my big poem, the one that I wanted to share with you, that I told you spent my year writing. It's a long one, and that's why I'd like to do it now. So we have, we're kind of in the middle of our thing, so it doesn't get cut off. Okay. Here we go. This is called Nero is Still Fiddling. And I'll set it up for you. If you recall last year, and I did On My Way to the Apocalypse, I did some excerpts from my book. And I said, wow, it was 10 years ago. Let me do the 10-year challenge, right? And so I read through it. And as I said, it was around the same time that, the war started with Ukraine. And I came across the line of Nero is Still Fiddling. And I decided to take that line and run with it. And so here it is. This is Nero is Still Fiddling. And this is its debut. I have never shared this in public at all, ever. Also, there's a lot code. I call it code because I've incorporated what happened within my personal life as well as life, real life, whatever you want to call it. So here we go. Nero is still fiddling. Nero is still fiddling, a fiery, flaming duet with the infamous fiddler, challenging our souls. Claws scritch, scratch, squeak, discordant riffs, disharmonies. Puppeteer puppets play shell games, vampiric siphoning of mother's blood. 21 or 30 dystopian, utopian agendas. Quicksand timeline shifts, rhythms of a terrorizing tarantulan tarantella, dangling, distracting carrots to veil our way. The strings of the fiddle burn, scream the burning, showering sparks, igniting ugly mushroom flowers. Hyper-supersonic missiles, discordant frequencies, flame unaware unsubconscious response, the resonance, the dust of death, nanobites, nanobots, cell phone zombies, nuclear mosquitoes, irritants, relentless, grating, grinding creates the pearl, the pearly gates, the doorway that swings both exit and entrance. Exponential, schizophrenic genesis has taken over. The covert, overt, covert virus with masked, subtle, spiked variances has taken seed, root, weaponized, none of us immune to the snakebite venom. The first casualty of war is the truth. Therein lies the famous question, the truth inherent in not truth. Everyone shouts, God, 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 the unnameable name of someone who is, who may be. God, you are on my side only. Mutual demon is nationalizing monetization. Where is room for the angels? Diogenes, his searchlight on high beams. Gaia wails her frustrations, tantrums, grief. Her truth is life and death, people, animals, fish, tree, skies. She washes, scorches, burns, freezes, blows, the flaming Arctic, the feverish Antarctic. Whatever the weather, weather the weather, the weather wars are winning, manipulated or not, no matter. Blue sky or blue beams, birds, butterflies, holograms, drones, balloons, chemtrail spider webs. Mama, salve the wounds. Remove all traces of infestation. Investation, those who invest nations by divesting treasure. The apocalypse is being televised. Repetitive flaring collision of light and darkness. Right now, this moment, live stream, live action, single life take, no stunt doubles. In excruciating, full, excruciatingly full, gory, glorious technicolor detail. Some red flags may be false, but an angry bull knows that not. Shall we play a game? Russian, Chinese, alien, Middle Eastern, American roulette. There are only tigers behind these doors. This movie is real in 3 or 4 or 5D or G, multiple dimensions, perpendicular parallels, myriad prequels or sequels of future past history. We are fully immersed in the virtual experience, poised on the hinge of the seat of our pants, a real cliffhanger, riding the roller coaster of the conclusive ultimate climax. Maybe, unless it pays well enough to continue with future backstories. We are the stand-ins, the extras, actors who won't get paid, non-voluntary volunteers who supposedly uselessly eat, nothing more than fodder for the beast. So we ourselves know better, and yet we still let them feed. Nero is still fiddling. Diabolical hilarity, death's skeletal head, a mirthless grim grin, hollow eyes, hollow bones, hollow cost. Furious Nick's motto, way too far. Furious Nick's motto, make the ultimate nightly all-in bet. The marvelous gamble that you will leap off a perpetual cliff with eyes closed, that the sun will rise again tomorrow and you will be alive to see it. We teeter-totter, toddlers, vertiginous wobble on the knife's edge, balancing a high-intensity, electrified tightrope, a high wire wired with a hair trigger. The news comes fast. I declare a news fast. But there are those who cannot fast this fast news. Flattened under a building, perhaps, the world all shaken up. So, I hold a safekeeping basket for them in my alleged, imaginary, illusionary safety. And this fast news is not new news at all. They're very old, very ancient. Nero is still fiddling. We are all of us innocent, or not, being led into the gaping maw, the black hole beyond the lived and the known, the eternal veil that calls us back to light. The flashpoint, the event horizon, shattered reflections of ourselves, and manifest on a huge archetypal stage, grand theater, misunderstood dialects of the same language, the universal language, a loving smile, sailing wooden ships, brandishing, rattling saber word swords. The babbling tower has collapsed again. The babbling brook that brooks no descent, a tsunami flooding torrents of psychic debris. Grasp the light jet streaming the light. Wolf women and men, more than you know, all balancing which wolves they feed, running, loping, climbing, praying, dancing up a snowy, windy mountain, struggling, carrying each other ever high to the crest, the peak, a collective, companionable hermitage. The goodest man who ever lived once said there was no one good, not even him. Continual Sisyphean striving is the only way. And the way that can be named is not the way, and I am the way. Stand in your own blood, your essence in your veins. The seventh generation at the crossroads of the rainbow red road of prophecy, challenging the demonic fiddler. A horse's crazy spirit words of truth, shining black elks, untamed, undomesticated, reclaiming a land that can't be owned. The thin red line, the umbilical connecting us all, interweave lifeblood with the earth's lifeblood, jewels of air cyclically respirated between the multicolored humans and the green ones, standing tall to reach heaven for us all. Greed dissolves, dissipates as we dance. A static ghost, no longer hungry, also dance. A universal harmony around a flourishing, nourishing world tree, the heart of New Jerusalem, the galactic spaceport. Our blood runs as one, earth and mother and father and sky and moon and sun and stars, the cyclic lake of consciousness. Is the water bitter or sweet? You choose, you decide. Nero is still fiddling the same millennial refrain his tune. Mitikiwi Oasin, En Lakesh, Namaste, one root mother of us all, clone, stardust, Tiamat, Earth, Gaia, and her many incarnations. We are here, we are one. The not one is done, individual walled fortresses. There is no battle, there is no war. As Brother John said it best, war is over if you want it. Just imagine. The Achad, single collective, each individual cell cries out as a single, unified, crucial crucible cleanses. The light is tipping, not toward a yellow brick road, gold and green with greed, but the only rainbow red road to follow to Emerald City, Oz, Om. The only one we can walk toward life, the end, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. The beginning, the ending, Ouroboros, Mobius, snakes stripping our masks and veils. Crondom, kingdom, queendom, the sage, wise ones. A string of pearls hangs down your back, aligning your spine, so you remember your eternal Narnian royalty, dignity, your inheritance, your birthright. I have been through, in, under the dark labyrinthian cave, Inanna shedding her veils, Ariadne's thread glowing the way out of the maze, inking our umbilical lineages, stars, planets, sun and moon, earth, air, water, fire, ephemeral, eternal, wind, ruach, breath, Om. And so for the children, not only my children, my flesh, blood, and bone, but all the children, you and me and all the younglings, the younglings and the elder younglings and those not yet born and those already born and died and who live on in us. Children, Nero is still fiddling. Let us teach him a new song. Let us learn a new song together. Let us pray. Let us play. Let us dance. Let us sing. The end.
Wow. Oh, I'm going to take a second to recover.
Yeah, me too.
First, I'd like to thank you for allowing this particular audience to be the one that you chose to share that piece with. That incredible,
thank you,
epic piece. Did you hear what I said? Incredible and epic.
Yes, I heard you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a quick
so I don't feel
break.
so bad. It took me a year to write.
Oh, yes. We're going to take a quick
I'm
break.
kind of still not done.
I know.
Because
I can understand. Still what?
It's the issues that aroused it is
mm-hmm.
still happening.
Yes.
So, and I also want to share that my vision of this world and of this whole Nero thing
mm-hmm.
is that of envisioning our world as a kintsugi piece of art. Kintsugi is that Japanese art where you have a cracked bowl and you fill
mm-hmm.
those cracks in with gold.
Wow.
I am not so naive to think that the world has changed dramatically and it's cracking, so to speak. But
mm-hmm.
if I hold that image in my mind, the world is kintsugi.
Mm-hmm.
And we can fill in all this with gold. And that is what my hope. And so I just wanted to share that vision with your listeners so we
mm-hmm.
can agree on that together.
Wow.
When, so that we're not, I'm not propounding any one particular thing here.
Yes.
Just that vision. Yes.
Well, like I said, we're going to take a quick break, but I want you to answer this question when we return from the break.
Okay.
What do you think that poem conveys about being human? All right.
Well, that's a nice, tough question. Thanks a lot.
In 90 seconds. All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
Everyone.
Sure.
We are back. I am Michael Anthony Ingram. I am here with one of my favorite people, favorite poets, Ellen Thea. What does that poem convey about being human?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, and just off the top of my head.
That's okay.
I have to say, I think it conveys that. Well, it's universal, and that the big thing. I tell you what, the big clue in here is toward the end when it talks about that we're the multicolored hue, HUE hyphen, and man's hue, man's. We're all hues. We're all human. We're all connected. That's why I say Mitakiwi Oasin. We are all related. When I did and that's part of what happened. I was reading a lot of Zecharia Sitchin and the whole thing that all women have the same mitochondria. We're all kind of clones. And without getting into major craziness that way, okay? don't want to go there. The fact is, we are all related. Part of why I did the thing with the standing in your blood, I belong to a Native American sisterhood group that I was grandmothered in, too.
Okay.
I'm not Native American. They know I have a Native heart, but they also know my background is Ashkenazi Jew, but the medicine woman who founded the group is the one who sent me up here. And so, and the group is called Stands in Her Blood, and she encouraged me to not be a part of the wannabe tribe, to want to be an Indian, but to stand in my blood. And I began researching that, and I went all the way back to how far. And we're all related. We're all related, and that's why I write, stand in your own blood. I believe we're at the 7th generation that Crazy Horse prophesied about, and so many others have prophesied about. And we're at that point. And that's why, the world has changed. It's not going to be the same. We can't go back.
No, we can't.
But we, the people, and I'm not saying this is just America, we, the people of the world, the 99%, the alleged useless eaters, okay? We have to stand and make the stand against these puppeteers who have their own agenda, who are doing incredibly stupid things, if you have a modicum of common sense.
Yes.
And we have, so I think that's what it says. And I think I have to cry that out. There's all this division for no good reason.
Yes.
No, there's what? So, you're a man, big deal. I'm a woman, do we have to fight about that? Do we have to fight about the fact that your shade is different than my shade? Really? You got blood that runs the same color? Okay, we're good. That's my opinion.
Right.
So,
well, I'm going to ask you, and you choose either one of these to answer if you want.
Okay.
What did you learn about writing that piece? Or what was your greatest surprise writing that piece? You can do both if you want. Okay.
Yeah, well,
but neither.
Well, my greatest surprise about the piece was that I was actually able to write it and pull it off. Because there was a time where I didn't think I could. That was a surprise. And how it evolved and created itself, and I'm going to put it exactly that way. What I learned, I didn't learn anything so-called new.
All right.
But how to express it in a way that I can, that other people could hear it. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So it also it reinforced what you do, and finding a way to further express what you knew. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Epic. I can see why you wanted to put it in the middle. We don't want that one cut off. No, not at all.
No. And
no, we don't. Can you share another?
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to find something that's not as intense. How's that?
Okay. All right.
Because that was pretty intense. I mean, I could do
yes.
Okay. I'm going to let you pick. Okay.
All
you
right.
can pick.
Yes.
I'm going to give you your choice of 3. We've got Gaia's Psalm. I've got Weeping for Laodicea or Big Mama.
The second one.
Weeping for Laodicea?
Yes.
Okay, that is a song of mine that actually was definitely came through, I mean, I can say channeling, it came from God. Direct.
All right,
okay? Because I could not have written this without God. I wrote this back in, probably back in the 80s, late 80s. And again, to me, it's so sad that these poems that I have written so many years ago are still relevant. So this is a song you're actually going to hear me sing now.
All right.
So here we go. All right? Weeping for Laodicea. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. Oh, my children, I long to gather you as the hen gathers her chicks, yet you would have none of me, only Satan's tricks. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. Yes, poor and blind, so weak, Laodicea says, I am rich and strong and see the Lord, yet you are not mine. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, white linen to wear, salve for your eyes, wedding feast attire. Weeping for Laodicea, a church so poor and blind. Weeping for Laodicea, don't be left behind. Behold, I knock. Behold, I come. Behold, even now I am here. Behold, I knock. Behold, I come. Behold, even now I am here. And I weep for Laodicea. The end.
Wow. Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely
and
beautiful.
I got to tell you, I didn't write it. That is scripture, word for word. I couldn't put that together myself. Again, and that comes out of, I don't know if you know about Laodicea, but it's the lukewarm church.
Mm-hmm.
And the church that doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
I know that. And it probably came out of when I got divorced. I was part of a congregation, a Messianic Jewish congregation. Mm-hmm. And when I got divorced, I got cut off from everybody. And I don't believe that Yeshua died so I could get beaten up for the rest of my life. So
you were shunned? You were shunned?
I was shunned. And I had to pull it all together myself. And so that my guess is, because like I said, I wrote it in the 80s or the 90s or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably in the 90s. My guess is that it evolved out of that experience. Oof. And again, I know we can look across the country and see that while there are people that are doing what should be done, just out of simple compassion and humanity and all that stuff, there are other people that just, it doesn't matter. We're doing what we're going to do, but we're going to build another mega church or whatever. So, okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a danger when I say to you, pick one that you want.
Well, I think I picked the right one. That was perfect.
I think you did pick the right one. I really wanted to use your platform to do that. So.
Oh, I do. Hey, see, we're in sync. We're in synchronicity tonight.
Yes, we are.
Based on what you know about poets, what makes poets different from other people, Ellen Thea? I'm keen to know this.
What makes poet what? What was the question?
Different from other people. What what makes poets different from other people?
What makes
poets
what different from other people? Poets? Oh, well, first of all, we don't. When we write poems, we don't talk normal necessarily.
Okay.
You know,
please expound
that's
upon
part
that.
of it. You know, it's as an art. You know, and what makes poets different is we it's our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The sky can be blue,
mm-hmm.
or the sky can be, you know, a blue jay. You know, sky can be, you know. I'm using that as a metaphor. But poets just, they speak differently, and it speaks to. It's like almost like the expression of poetry is like the space between the logic and the creative.
Okay.
Let's put it like that, because there is a logic within. There's an internal logic to each piece of poetry, even if it's crazy. There's an internal logic to it, an internal flow, and it moves. But it's not Spock logical, you know. It's more than just. I think I'm just gonna. Forgive me, painters, but I'm just going to throw the paint on the wall and let it drip down without shaping it into something. Poets are just different people. They are. And we certainly feel like we can say it better than somebody else.
Right. Share another.
All right. Let's see. Oh, I'll do this is tough. Let's see. I can't pick because I'll be happy with anything. So let's see. We've got I don't remember if I did Suicified or not. I've got The Invisible Woman, Cooking Lesson, Mother Mary and Kuan Yin. That's one where the title of the poem is longer than the poem. But,
all right. Well, of that set, which one is your favorite? One is your favorite of that?
They're all my favorite. That's why I'm not picking them.
Okay.
They're literally all my favorite. I can't choose.
Cooking lessons. I want to hear cooking lessons.
Cooking lessons?
Cooking lessons. Yes.
All right. Cooking lesson. Here we go. Where'd it go? And all right, I had it. Where'd it go? Well, shoot. There it is. Cooking lesson. Oh, I won an award for this one, by the way.
Okay.
I thought I should mention that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Okay, this is a cooking lesson. Fragrant subtlety, aromatic nuance. I want to savor each delectable step of this meandering journey. A hint of this, a splash of that. Sprinkle the spices generously, delicately. We simmer a low burn. The occasional stir here and there, scorching this dish will never do. Too soon, too often, checking a souffle, the wishful blooming. But oh, how I dream that our peripherally watched, unwatched pot will soon boil over, riotous, tumultuous bubbles, steam rising. Our cake will be baked, and I'll lick the icing off your fingers. The end.
Wow. Ellen, Thea,
Yeah.
what is one key lesson that you want the listeners to take away from your work?
That we need to stand together as humans, connect with compassion, know that creator, we have a creator. Get right with the creator, however, whatever.
All right.
Because we're all just trying to make our way home. You know?
Yes.
And that's and to speak up. I'm reminded. There's that last line in Schizophrenegenesis: speak up, call, collect, live. I will not be led lost, silent into vague black ink, and neither you.
Wow.
That's what I would want people to take away.
You know, we've reached the part of the program that I love this part. It's called a mini poetry concert. This is where you share 2-3 of your works back to back. No interruptions from me, no questions, just you back to back sharing your work. Ellen, Thea, are you ready?
Well, that's a surprise, but okay. How many poems?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. All right, let's see. I will do a drum poem first. Let's get it. Okay. This is Gaia's Psalm. It's the first drum poem I ever wrote. I grabbed had bought my first frame drum and started playing with it, and this poem came out. This is Gaia's Psalm. Fingers tap, tap, tabla, tala, raja, raja, mama, mama, beat, beat, pulse, drum, heart, beat, beat, barefoot, heart, beat, beat, fingers dance, over skin, cured, remember, forgotten goddess rhythms, ancient earth, Gaia's psalm beats within my breasts, hips, thighs spread as hummingbird wings, pulse, infinity, pulse, eternity, now, now, now is the drum, now, now, now is the beat between heartbeats, now, now, now is the moment between in and release, exhale. I feel vibrations through my feet, through pulse, fingers, through pulse, fingers, DNA encoded. The beat is in my blood, the beat of the blood, my fingertips, my palm, drums, Gaia's psalm. Big Mama, she do shake, rattle, and roll. She sing the blues, the browns, the greens, the reds, the spectacular oranges and pinks. She'd be so pretty. When Big Mama laughed, the nectar rolled between her legs. Her womb be gentle like the ocean. Her passion be wild like the storm. Her anger be purple like earthquake and volcano. Her tears taste like rain. I sit in her lap. She be my Big Mama. You sit in her lap. She be your Big Mama. She be whole world Big Mama, 'cause her lap be big enough for us all. And, I will do what else? One more piece. Here's I'll do them. I referenced this before. I just think it's kind of whatever. Mother Mary and Kuan Yin holding my head over the toilet bowl while I puke my brains out. The flu. Who else do you call for help except your mothers? The end of that one. You wouldn't think you could write a poem about throwing up, right? And the flu. But hey, I did. And those other 2 poems were award winners, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. I got another piece. Here's an interesting piece. I'm wondering how much time I have. You got it? I can do it?
Yeah, just okay. One last one. Just one last one, yes.
Oh, okay. And this one is Flying on Samhain. I don't know if I want to do that one. I had a different one I want to end up with.
Don't set us
now,
up.
How tempted are you? By Flying on Samhain or Gaia's Dream? Yeah, I got you started with Flying on Samhain. So yes. Gaia's Dream? All right,
yes,
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, Samhain's a Halloween poem. Here's Gaia's Dream. Where'd it go? I had it. There it is. All right, yeah, this is one I wanted to end with because it's really nice, good, positive piece.
All right.
Gaia's Dream. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to dream the dream big enough? Unfold the fragrant lotus, rooted down deep in shadow, dank mud. Dream bigger. Enfold, encompass Gaia's lush dream, her slumbering heart. Kiss each translucent layer of the veil, transparency increasing, leaving you naked, more and more visible. Bless the fig leaves going in the breeze. Luscious, juicy, sweet, mango and avocado, purple orchids, silver ocean, green turtle beaches, ecstatic rainforests, and passionate desert choirs sing harmonies, weaving a tapestry. Whatever you dream, dream bigger. So the feathered fringes touch the edge of the web of the womb of the universe. The one song forever creates beauty from chaotic potential, and butterfly wings unfold as one. Whatever you dream, dream bigger, and bigger still, beyond. The end.
Wow. Oh. I guess the following statement by Kalu is correct. He said, poetry is like a canvas. You can paint any picture with it. What you think?
Yes. Well, as I've mentioned before, my father was a great artist.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that. Wow, I don't remember that. Wow.
My dad was, he was a great artist in my mind. Okay. He was in art school. And then, lo and behold, he had 2 children he had to support, so he couldn't continue with that dream. But he was a very wonderful artist, and I do thank him because he was the one who taught me how to write when I was 4, write my name and all that. Yeah. Anyway, because he was such a great artist, it intimidated me very much so. And I felt like if I could maybe draw a stick figure, And so I decided to paint with my words. And that's how I agree with that quote. It's a canvas. And the great thing is that it's a mutable canvas, and it changes how your punctuation changes, it's so subtle,
Well, let me ask you this. I know we both got to go here. We don't want to run out of time. Your voice is so strong. Here's my question. What advice would you give poets about finding their voice?
At the moment, the only way to find me is going to be on Facebook. And if you are on Facebook and you want to friend me, I would suggest that you shoot me a quick PM, direct message, because that to become my friend. And how you heard from me, because we get friend requests all the time, and I don't.
Yes, we do.
Unless I know you, I'm not going to click on it.
Yes.
At the moment, that's the only avenue I have. It's funny. I'm just starting out, even though I've been writing for so long. You know how that
goes.
That's
okay. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And,
yes, I do.
Or they could always get in touch with you, and you can connect me.
Yes.
To them.
Yes. That might be the easiest thing. Yep.
That's really the easiest, best way to find me. Who knows what may happen in the future? Right. I've just got this brand new computer without having had one and the internet for many years. So I'm a newbie dinosaur. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I understand. Well, what's next? Where do you go from here creatively, my friend?
Well, as I've said, next week I'll be participating in a festival in Talkeetna. I'm on Sunday the 28th at 3:30 if you're in Alaska for some reason and come to Talkeetna. And at that, I will be actually having a table of my own personal swag, magnets for my short poems.
Yes.
And posters, framed, unframed, whatever. And, moving, a brochure, all of that. I'm kind of doing my launch, so to speak. And then I have another festival coming up in July. And then other than that, I'm not really sure. We have a lot of work. I have a lot of work also to do on my cabin. So I've got to work on that. I'm hoping to maybe do more drum circles, but these are all, I've got books to write, I have things to do, and that's what's next.
All right. Well, I want to thank you. We've reached the end of our poetic journey this time. And I
we got
thoroughly
to do this
enjoyed
again soon.
Yes. And we need to stay in touch more often. I would really like that. Especially since our birthdays are so close. Right.
Yes.
Well, everyone.
Yes, we're almost birthday twins.
That's right. So, everyone, Ellen, Thea, what else can I say?
Well, I want to just say thank you so much for giving me this platform and for having me on your show. And I enjoy it. I enjoy this a lot, and I enjoy talking about art and, of course, sharing my poetry. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Well, all right. Like I said, that's why I flubbed the opening. I was just so excited. My friend was back.
Yeah. Yeah. There you are.
I couldn't even put my words together. But it was a beautiful program. And I want to thank you again for sharing your gift, your creative gifts. And I just want to thank you.
Well, it's a mutual admiration society.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes, it is.
All right, everyone. Wow. Take care, Ellen.
You too. Take care, Michael. Have a good night, everyone. Sweet dreams.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Right.
And as I share with you every week, let poetry ring somewhere throughout the land. Goodbye.
Yes.
Quintessential Listening, Poetry Online Radio, is available on iTunes.
Yes, I'm off. Yes, I'm off.